Welcome to the kNights podcast. I'm your host, Keikoa, and with me tonight is Ben.
Hey!
And back by special request is Corey.
Hey!
He's finally able to make it back with us. He's been
Yes, I'm back!
super busy, actually, working really hard. Really hard.
Yeah.
Allegedly, yes. Well, no, he's...
As far as you guys know.
As far as we know, as far as we've been told, that's why he hasn't been able to join us. But we're glad to have him back. It's good to have someone else. Not that I'm saying Ben's not that good.
But yeah, Ben's
but it's good to have you back with us. So how have you been?
It's good to be back. I'm
doing great. Oh, sorry.
See, this is why Ben isn't that good.
Sorry.
See?
It's like
Ben,
that's what happens.
always cutting me off.
See, now you know what I've had to put up with. You know, see? The power hours. They've been rough.
It's a Ben Power Hour.
It's been the Ben Power Hour, yes. He's kind of controlling. He does control the volume, so he could easily just...
He's like, Keikoa?
I don't know.
No.
That's if I was silent for a good part of the podcast last time, that's probably what happened. You know, I didn't stop talking.
Yeah, see? Like,
So if something like that happened all of a sudden...
and then he just... See? Ben Power.
Yes, that's all you could hear is Ben laughing maniacally.
Maniacal laugh.
Yes.
Maniacal laugh.
So you've been watching, but you haven't been able to keep on TV shows though.
Of course.
So there's always time. What little half hour to hour bits you have to
I make time in order to keep up on my
for
fall
what
TV
is important.
season. Yes.
So what have you been watching?
I've been keeping up on the superhero ones, except for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I've been watching Gotham, The Flash, Arrow, and then I also watch Once Upon a Time as well.
So you're all caught up on all of those ones?
Everything except for Once Upon a Time, I just have one more episode to do. Oh, and I also watch Supernatural. I just have a couple episodes on that. But I'm caught up on everything else.
Because I know Ben recently caught up, like binge watch all of Agents, which is only a season and a half, I think.
Yes.
So technically, it's not a ton I've been watching, but it's still a good amount. But you caught up, and you're all caught up with Agents now.
All caught up. Just waiting for the episode to come out next Tuesday.
And you're also caught up on...
No,
you're
not-
one episode behind on Agents.
One agent, well, for Agents, right? Because you said last week there wasn't.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Or was it this week? Yesterday
This
there wasn't.
week.
Yeah. So this week there was an episode, and I missed last week, so I'm only one episode behind there. But Gotham, I'm 2 now, so I have to
you're
do a
2.
double. I've been keeping up with Doctor Who is mine, but no one else here watches that, so it's just me on that one. But that's the one I actually was caught up with.
So we're all caught up on different shows.
Yes,
basically
across the board. Oh, and I watched the first episode of Constantine.
I have not.
I have, and there's been 2, right? It's on Fridays, right? So
Yes.
so I watched the first episode, and it was pretty good. But I never read Hellblazer, or the comic it's based on.
Did you see the Keanu Reeves?
I did see Constantine, and since I hadn't read the comics, I liked the movie.
What is that? Those are both the same thing?
Yeah, those Constantines are both based on the same character.
I didn't
They're
realize
completely
that the show
different.
was
Yeah, like
the
I
same
think
as-
the show one's closer to the one in the Hellblazer comic, but even then, I think people that actually read the comics are like, no, he's completely incorrect. Whereas Keanu Reeves is playing apparently someone completely different. I mean, even just the look of him is different from what the image of him in Constantine, of the guy in Constantine, apparently it looks more like Constantine from Hellblazer than what Keanu Reeves was doing.
So basically, the TV show is more accurate to it than the movie was.
It sounds like so far it's been. And
Well, the movie also came out like right after Matrix. I think the trilogy.
Did it come out?
Yeah.
Oh.
So he was pretty much riding his fame wave up until that point, and then kind of disappeared after.
I really liked Constantine.
I really like The Matrix.
I think I liked all of them.
Matrixes?
I guess. Well, I mean, everyone kind of gets down on the second 2, and I can see why, because I'm now having flashbacks of raves in caves.
Yeah, I rewatched
So,
them recently.
yeah. Now,
The first one definitely was by far the best one, but
I think maybe the second one, the other ones could be cut up into better films. Maybe like,
yeah,
okay, we'll take out all this stuff and then chop it down. It's like, oh, that's pretty good. I think I'm remembering it. I'm not. I must have blocked out some of the stuff because I'm like, oh, they weren't that bad. But I think I need to go rewatch them to go, oh yeah, this part needs to not be here, and this is kind of boring and pointless. So.
Yeah, I also rewatched them too because then I actually had a better understanding of everything that was going on.
Oh,
like the
when you watched
whole
last
computer program
Right.
and everything, how it's all connected and everything, compared to back when I watched it as a younger kid. Because when it came out, I was in like, I want to say like middle school, elementary school, middle school. So I just like, it was action for me. And then now I rewatched it and I was like, oh, there's a plot behind this, and it's not just him going around dodging bullets and shooting people, you know?
Well, it's funny you should say that because I went to see Keanu Reeves' newest movie, John Wick. I saw it last week. That was awesome, actually. It was really good. Carrie wanted to see it because apparently on her drive there's 3 billboards or 4 billboards on her way, so she kept seeing them. And she tells me, I want to go see John Wick. I'm like, is it because you keep seeing billboards? She's like, maybe. So the advertising worked, but it was actually a really good movie. And like you were saying, where it's kind of, this movie basically, it has a story, but only for purposes of moving from one action set piece to the next action set piece. Like it's like you can tell that it's like, well, we need some kind of story to tie why this John Wick character is going from one place to another. But it's like the easiest because it's about like kind of a, he plays, I guess it's kind of spoilers, but he plays like an ex-assassin for the mob.
Okay.
So they kind of hinted that like he's not in. He's like, are you back in? Kind of in the trailers they say that. So it's kind of something they talk about. But in the movie you find out he was kind of, he used to be, now he's retired, but apparently he was a badass when he was doing it, and no one wanted to mess with him. And during the course of the movie you kind of see why, and it's really well put together. I think even like one of the stunt coordinators co-directs it, kind of thing as well. Wow. Yeah, so
like, do they do stuff where they push the limits of what you're expecting?
Well, I mean, it's not like where your Matrix, you had your bullet times and stuff like that. If anything, it uses it does the action scenes in a way. One of my problems with most action scenes now in movies is they do like the quick cuts, so it's supposed to look chaotic and stuff. So you can never really tell who's hitting who. Someone looks like they're hitting themselves sometimes because you have no frame of reference on where anyone's standing because the camera's.
Would you say it's as bad as Ninja Assassin?
It's been a while since I've seen Ninja Assassin, but
it's just sounds and darkness.
Well, that's the thing about John Wick is I think they do a lot of one shots, like a whole entire shot where it's like
a continuous shot.
One continuous shot, I think. So like it's really well planned out. He'll be like, one scene is fighting his way through a club and just basically killing not everybody because he's very precise, so everyone with a gun that's trying to kill him, because at a certain point he's got a price on his head, so everyone's trying to kill him, or like he's trying to get to a guy in the mob, I'm not gonna say who, but he's trying to, and then the mob's throwing everything they got at him, but he's fighting his way through a club, and there's a lot of just long shots where you're following him through the thing, and you can tell what's happening. You see, it's not like a really tight close-up of just him. It's pulled back so you see him and things around him, so you're like, oh, okay, I know what's going on.
Okay, that's good, because I feel like you were saying, a lot of the movies lately, it's been those shortcuts of like just real quick, and it's like you don't have any idea who's getting hit until the end, and it shows you like, oh, okay, these people won.
Yeah, I think I don't know how they won, but apparently there was action, and then they won. And another thing about the action scenes in this one is it's I think I was telling Ben this, but basically how they have him, he kind of acts like as what you would think a normal assassin would be. Like he has, like he'll like shoot somebody and then he'll take the second shot to the head. Like he'll put 2 in their head too, with everybody. Like it's not like a
double tap.
Yeah, he'll always do that. Like it's
he must have watched Zombie
thought out basically. So he'll like, if someone runs up to him and shoot him in the chest, then boom, run to the head. for everybody. Like you would think an assassin would, not just like one shot to the chest. Oh yeah, that guy's dead, and he's dead. It's like nope, that guy's really dead now.
Like he's not getting up again.
Yeah, you would think assassin's like I'm gonna make sure he's not gonna get up.
Yeah, because you don't want them to come back at you.
Exactly, but in normal action movies, they just like he's the hero. Anyone he shoots is totally dead completely. And then not in this one, because in this one even he runs out of bullets. Like he
runs out of bullets. What?
Yeah,
what kind of action
he's
movie
shooting
is
a pistol.
Realistic.
And it makes for a good scene because he's like good. I think he shoots somebody in the chest and he's going to shoot him in the head like he's been doing. But then he like shoots it and then it's empty. So, but the guy's like, oh, and then like he's like on the ground kind of thing. So during that scene, he's like, you see him reloading his gun, like in the time it takes. And then shoots him in the head and then goes about his business, which is like that's pretty awesome actually, because they just usually shoot forever and then they never have to reload. But this one,
they always have unlimited clips just in their pockets.
Exactly,
it's always like that because it's like how many people really carry that many clips for a gun?
Exactly, in this one, but he plays. And then he also uses different guns too, so which is really cool. So they switch it up, and one scene's using the pistols, and the other scene's using not a machine gun, but like an assault rifle kind of gun. And then another one he's shooting a shotgun. So they even vary up the weapons that he's using, and each one has these really cool action scenes where he's using them. So it's a really good action movie, and I don't know if it won if it opened the biggest in its weekend, but it's definitely something that I hope they make more of. And you should go see it, actually. It's really good if you like action movies. So if you, by chance, Corey, maybe like action movies.
I don't know. Action isn't really my thing.
Right.
Yeah, not. Of course I want to go see that.
But after watching that, it made me think of like other kind of, I guess, ones that it kind of paid homage to, like like Hard Boiled and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
I never saw them though, like the Hong Kong kind of the gunfight ones. Have you seen those ones before?
No, I haven't seen
like
those
the John
ones.
Woo ones before.
Yeah,
pre Face Off and Mission Impossible, the ones that made him get those movies. Have you seen those ones?
No, I haven't seen those ones, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was hoping. It kind of made me go, I should see more of these.
Like, yeah, I want to see
actiony gunfight movies, or maybe just watch Equilibrium again and watch some gun kata, I guess. But yeah, I think you'd like the movie.
It seems like a movie that I would like, actually, and even after watching the previews, it was something that I was interested in. I just never got the time to go see it. Along with Fury, I still haven't been able to go see that one either. So,
Ben, did you see anything?
Nope.
Yes,
obviously.
Well, I mean,
you're almost as busy as I am.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, I was saying,
I barely was able to catch up on the TV shows, so movies are. Yeah.
No, we were talking about Big Hero 6, though.
Yes, that's actually
that one's coming out
in a few days.
Week, yeah,
in a few days,
tomorrow
right?
Night.
Does it? Oh, yeah, right.
Oh, right. Midnight showing.
Yeah,
midnight showing
tomorrow night.
And then I hadn't talked about it a ton. We talked about it a little bit, but I think we're all pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I mean,
you saw the trailer.
Initially I wasn't too excited about it, but the more and more I saw the new leaked trailers and all these new sneak previews, like at Disneyland and everything, over at the Captain EO Theater over in Tomorrowland. After I saw that, I was even more hyped for it, and it's a movie that I actually really want to see now. To me, I want it to do as good as Frozen did, but I know it won't, considering it's a boy movie.
It feels like it's on track to do something like a Wreck-It Ralph, actually.
Yeah.
It feels very Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, it feels like we'll
it's
love
the same
it.
Creators. Yeah. We'll love it.
And then we'll be like, why doesn't everybody love this as much as Frozen? But it's understandable why.
It's not a girl movie, and it's not princesses, but I want it to do that good, but I'm pretty sure it won't. But I'm hoping it does well.
Hopefully like I said, it might do Wreck-It Ralph, but hopefully it builds off of Wreck-It Ralph, actually. And people that saw that one are like hyped to see this one, so it's like it'll take that one and make it bigger. So
yeah,
that's what I'm hoping, because it definitely. Were you saying it was from the same people?
Yeah, the same people that made Wreck-It Ralph, they did this one as well. That's why it has that same type of feel to it. But it looks really good.
I saw a history of Big Hero 6. Like someone put out a video today, about it, and I was like, oh, because it's pretty changed for Disney-fied, basically for this release. And I mean, I guess if I was, for those people that have followed the comics, it might be like, oh, you changed all the characters I love, kind of thing, because they're all subtly, well, not even subtly, just some of them are completely different. From after watching the origins. I'm like, yeah, these characters are different, and since I didn't read the comics, I won't feel that hurt by it. I mean, I can understand.
It's understandable.
Yeah, if you
if
do
they
like
change
the
any of our comics.
Oh yeah, if they, yeah. And this was a big one for Japan actually, because it's set in Japan.
Oh, fictional
San Francisco.
Yes.
Is that now? Is that the new one, or is that?
That's what they're calling it
in the Disney one, but in the original comics, I think it was just maybe in Tokyo or something like that. It wasn't actually. I think they added the San Fran Tokyo thing here to kind of blend it together or something like that. It's like Neo Tokyo or something.
San Francisco.
They added,
I was like, really?
That was one of the things they changed up to make it more like Disney-fied.
San Francisco with more neon.
neon San Francisco. But I mean, we're looking forward to that one. Are you going to see that one?
Yes. Probably. Don't know about Friday. Maybe Saturday. I'll be able to catch it.
Maybe. If you're not working.
I'm gonna try to catch it sometime this weekend. I don't know when, but I'm gonna try to squeeze it in somewhere.
I mean, usually we'd like to see them all together.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've been so busy that we haven't been able to
even
barely see each other.
Yeah.
We barely
we used to hang out a lot more, and it's like, shoot.
Darn work. Someone's got to win the lottery.
Seriously, that way we can buy our cul-de-sac.
Exactly. But for now, real life is getting in the way of our good times kind of thing. But hopefully we can get together, if not see it all together, at least see it individually this weekend.
Then we can hopefully report back on it next week, because it seems like something that we all want to see. So it's kind of, someone was kind of saying that it was almost the first movie of the next kind of wave of superhero movies. Like,
I think we were talking about that like probably 2 podcasts ago.
Yeah, like it's the kind of official or unofficial start to
their
deluge of superhero movies that are a coming and over the next couple years.
Yeah, they've got a whole lineup of movies that, like, there's going to be a lot of superhero movies coming out.
Well, between the DC and the Marvel announcement, there's a lot to stay alive for, because that's all we have to do is manage to stay alive.
If I can see all of these ones, I can die happy.
So we got a list here.
We got a good list.
Here. So,
well, you want to start off on the Phase 3 announcement first?
Well, you mean the Marvel's Phase 3 announcement? Well, I was just going to go through the movies like as they are, because I mean, there's the DC one, and then Marvel just kind of not just, but maybe about a week ago announced their Phase 3. So basically, their slate of movies. So we have a list of all the movies just combined into one super list.
We covered this list last time, but then the Marvel one said unannounced or to be announced, to be announced, to be announced, to be announced.
So I guess we could skip the ones for DC, because did we go over the DC ones?
Yeah, we went over the whole list.
Okay.
We just, in here, it's just updated with the Phase 3 Marvel announcements. So
okay, so let's go down. We could go through the Marvel ones then, because we didn't talk about this yet. Or did we did?
However you wanted it.
Okay, what's up first? Oh, yeah.
The first one up, well, after Big Hero 6, obviously. The next one will be in 2015, May 1st. The Avengers Age of Ultron would be the next Marvel one coming out after.
And then that's the one they released the trailer recently for.
Yes. The trailer looks awesome, by the way, if you guys haven't seen it.
For which one?
For the Avengers Age
Got
of
No
Ultron.
Strings one?
Right, yeah.
That's that one, right?
It looks awesome. I definitely
with the creepy Pinocchio music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that from that. I think, I don't know, personally I was like, yeah, okay, I get it. They used a lot of it.
Yeah, I saw online a picture that someone mocked up of Pinocchio, but he pulls off his head and it's actually Ultron. Just to pay homage to that trailer, but it's the way everything's falling together. It's just really awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they've been I mean, this is kind of as opposed to the last one where they built up to it. Like it's like the Ultron one. They haven't really hinted at it in the previous one. So because we didn't have. We had a Cap 2. Was it Cap 2, right? Or the Cap?
Yeah, we had
Cap
Cap
2.
Yeah.
We had a Thor 2.
We had Iron Man 3.
Between the Avengers and this Avengers. Avengers 2 and Avengers now.
Oh,
3.
yeah.
No, this is Avengers 2, sorry.
Yeah.
Between the original Avengers and then this one, the second one, there was Iron
Man 3 was in there, wasn't
Did that
it?
fall in between there? Okay, so but they didn't really build they didn't really tease this Ultron movie in those ones as the end teaser. I'm trying to remember
the stinger at the end of any one of those, right?
Yeah, the Thor one was really just contained in Thor. I think it was like he comes back in one spoilers. He comes back and sees Jane, I think, and that one had like 3 stingers or something like that. Like there was one right after the movie ended, and then there was another one after the credits ended. I don't know, but most of that was contained in there. I don't even remember did Iron Man even have one?
A teaser?
It probably did,
Yeah,
but
it
it did. It had the stinger for the Iron Man one was where I think he's on the couch with Bruce Banner.
Yes.
And then he's talking to him. It was a kind of a funny one.
Yeah.
It wasn't
a hint towards
It wasn't a hint towards anything. So yeah, it seems like they weren't really hinting in the old one.
It was almost kind of like the stinger at the end of Avengers. Where they were just all in that Greek restaurant eating shawarma.
Well, yeah, by then they're like, well, we don't really need to tease anything because we just did the big bad battle. So it's just release valve kind of thing, that, and then the next movies they kind of kept doing the same thing where it's just kind of that was a funny stinger, didn't really push the story, but
slice of life.
Yeah, it was good. It was entertaining, but like not like the ones that were before Avengers, which each stinger brought you closer to the Avengers movie kind of thing. They were all leading towards it, which it's kind of, now that I think about it, kind of weird that they didn't really do that. They were just contained in their own movie. I can't remember what the stinger was for Cap America, though, because that was an awesome movie.
Captain America 2, was that with Apocalypse?
No, that was X-Men, Days of Future Past.
That's right, obviously. Wait, was Captain America the one with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch?
No, that was Days of Future. No, wait, no, that will be Avengers. Oh yeah, no, sorry.
It was,
now I
right?
remember.
Because they weren't the mutants; they were like the specials or something, right?
Right, they were in the castle up there being right. Yeah, that's right. That was the stinger. So that one, and it makes sense.
So
it's
that
the closest
that came
one
to this one.
Yeah, so it was the closest one. So they put the stinger where it needed because we could barely remember the Iron Man one, and the Thor one I kind of faintly remember. And the Captain America one was the closest, so that makes sense that they put it in there, even though it took a little bit of straining to even remember that. But I mean, it's not like it would have been nice if they added more that built up to it, but it didn't need any more hype. They just needed to release that trailer, and then everyone's like, I'm in.
Yep.
I want to see that. Yeah, basically, they're like, we don't need to do any stingers or anything. It's just, let's put out a trailer, and you'll watch, like, yes.
Actually,
yes,
this graphic calendar that I have that we're all looking at right now, that's all we really need. It's like, I'm sold on all these movies.
Yeah, and you don't even know a good amount of these characters. You never heard of them before. Well, okay,
except for Black Panther. Steve knows all.
What was the next one?
The next one after Avengers was Ant-Man on July 17th of 2015.
No, you know who Ant-Man is?
Paul Rudd.
Okay, he's that guy under the bridge, right, in the picture.
Yeah. San Francisco. Yeah.
San Francisco.
No.
Yeah, I don't know much about Ant-Man. Do you know much about Ant-Man?
I don't have a big thing behind.
Just kind of little history synopsis thing that you kind of see online where people give a quick, brief summary, like Hank Pym, the Wasp, and all that stuff.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, I kind of have an idea now. It sounds interesting, even though I don't know anything about it. But after Guardians, like what you were saying before, it's like, yeah, I trust them to make the right decision, have an entertaining movie.
Exactly. That's just what I was thinking too. I'm like, well, after Guardians, take my money. I'll trust you. Trust fall kind of thing. With money.
Here's some money.
Which is exactly
entertain me.
Yeah, so I don't know much about Ant-Man, so I'm not super hyped, but I mean, it is a Marvel movie, so I am hyped to see what they do about it, and I'll probably learn more about who it is as it gets closer, because right now the focus is on Avengers 2.
Mm-hmm.
Where I guess stuff gets real. According to the trailer, everyone's kind of looks bummed for the most of it because they're probably getting their butts kicked, apparently.
And then Captain America can move Thor's hammer slightly. Makes him worried.
Makes Thor like, what?
Yeah,
he's like,
I
just trying to pick it up,
first,
and then
it
it's
was,
like, and like, what the?
Yeah, I like that. That was a nice, because I mean, that's one thing they did do also, where Marvel kind of, I feel like, shines versus DC, where they're like very, okay, everything's got to be like Batman, super grim and super dark and stuff. It's like, yeah, that's Batman, but it's not Superman or any of your other. They don't all. I mean, just because it worked for Batman
doesn't mean it's gonna work for everybody else.
Exactly, and they kind of get that. Well, I mean, they never even fell into that trap at Marvel. They were like, there's room for action. There's room for a bit of lightheartedness. It doesn't have to. It's not dark and gritty all the time. Although this one definitely feels darker. Like it's going to be a little darker than the previous movies, kind of thing. Just by the feel of the trailer, like it seems like it might get a little bit more heavy, a little darker, and that's okay. I mean,
but it still looks like it still has the comedic.
There's still fun times, even in their trailer.
But they are building on an overall course to lead into Phase 3 and everything too with that one.
Yeah, that's kind of, if anything, that's like kind of an ending to like Phase 2. Like, okay, those characters here, they're gonna have some hard times.
Yep,
really hard times, and then we're going to move off of that because, assumably, they're going to win the day by the end. And here's the new beginnings, and it does lead very well into the next section, which I guess is.
It's going to be the next one. Will be the Captain America Civil War, for Marvel.
Wow!
On May 6th of 2016,
and that one, Iron Man has a pretty big role.
Yeah,
well, because not doing an Iron Man 4,
not confirmed yet, but.
So this might be like an Iron Man 3.5-ish, because apparently he's supposed to have a big role in this one, like you were saying.
Well, because the whole Civil War is basically Iron Man versus Captain America. They're both on opposite sides of the
Registration
Superhero
Act.
Registration Act.
Although a lot of that was around Spider-Man too. Like Spider-Man was a very integral part of that storyline because he. Spoilers. He kind of
haven't seen.
it's read a comic book.
Yeah, it's been out for a while.
Basically, he ends up revealing himself as Peter Parker. It's kind of a big moment in the series, but Marvel
is
doesn't.
This in the movie, or
this is in the comics.
Oh, okay.
In the series,
we don't know.
We don't know what they're going to do
in the movie. Do you think is it all going to be in one movie, or you think they're going to split it?
Well, right now it's slated as one movie, but I've been hearing rumors that. Robert Downey Jr. has kind of been dropping hints that maybe it might be bigger than just that movie. They might be throwing in another movie where they like maybe split into two kind of thing. And I mean, it's kind of rumors at this point, but knowing kind of how big the Civil War actually is, try to cram it all into one movie, did seem like kind of a feat. Like you'd be having to chop off a lot of bits and pieces, but I mean they already did have to because they don't own all the characters that do appear in Civil War. They don't own the X-Men, they don't own the Fantastic Four, they don't own Spider-Man, so they were already going to be having to take certain liberties, and I think they've actually to this point done that. Like they've proven that we'll change stuff as we see fit, and usually it's fine. It works in their favor, or it works in our favor too. The Guardians is kind of one where not that it was a very big comic for only like you had to be super into comics to even know about them, but even them they kind of changed them up for the movie, and everyone loves them. Maybe if you're a diehard, you're like, that's not the Guardians, even though the Guardians is kind of an ongoing team, so they're open to change things. So I expect the Civil War they'll try to meld it into something that will
make
work.
it like the Marvel movies / comic book
with whatever they have, because they don't have
all the characters that are necessary for the whole storyline.
Although I did hear a rumor that they're maybe in talks to try to get Spider-Man for Sony, just like as a
I heard that agreement was actually getting really close to being done.
That's even close enough.
Now they just need to reach out for Fox, but I think it.
You think? Oh, I didn't even know that.
Something was like they would get a stake, and then well, they'd be able to use a character, and then Sony would get a cut of the profits in merchandising, or I gotta reread the article again.
I don't know. I don't care. As long as it does happen, I think we all win.
Yes,
if they can
definitely.
somehow,
Yeah, if they can pull it out,
and in that case, I'd be fine.
That would actually set a good precedent for them to approach Fox with too. It's like, look, it worked for Sony. You guys can have what they have.
Fox is like, no, they're ours.
We want them all.
But then if they do manage to pull that off, and if they get Fox, like one of the things I've always been down on is ever since the Hobbit, or wait, no, Harry Potter. There we go. It's Harry Potter's fault for doing this. Something else probably did before, but part 1 and splitting off everything into part 1 and part 2 kind of things. And I've never been a fan of it. I've hated it, actually. Like the Hunger Games coming out part 1, part 2 kind of thing.
Except in this case, it seems like you kind of need to have it because there's so much going on.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, well, okay.
This would make sense. Yeah.
This one makes sense. I don't know about... I'm kind of... Now I'm into the Hunger Games, so I kind of want to see it. But it was kind of... I don't know if it needed to be a part 1, part 2 kind of thing. I can't remember if I thought Deadly Hallows needed to be part 1, part 2. Although, from that one, what I remember is most of part 1 they spend running. And then
that one seemed like they stretched it out on purpose just to get 2 movies and get the bigger cut of the box office.
Because that part 1, if I'm remembering correctly, was like, wow, that was stupid and unnecessary. I get
Wasn't that also like the thinnest book, too?
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, they cut out a lot of stuff from the other ones, and that kind of sucks. But they were all good movies, and they were still good books. So you could read the book, have a good time with that, and get a bunch of extra stuff that's not in the movies. And the movies were still good, even though they obviously had to cut down a lot of stuff. And then the book got smaller, but yet somehow needed to be chopped into 2 pieces. I think you're right. They did stretch
the material.
But the second part 2 was awesome.
Yeah,
the first one is
backloaded.
It was like just kind of like a Dragon Ball build up to the
second part. It was the
they
charge.
took the Dragon Ball formula. Okay,
we'll charge for the first part and then release on the second part. Did that send I don't know if they were doing that before that. They had the part 1, part 2 where they were splitting up stuff, but then. I mean, I think they started the idea because, like, The Hobbit actually had 3 parts now. Even though they don't call it part... No, do they even call it part 1, part 2, and part 3?
They all have trilogy.
They just have different names, even though...
But, yeah, it's just the smallest book out of the... Well, okay, The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, way more content there. They took The Hobbit and turned that into a trilogy where Lord of the Rings is already a trilogy. Right,
and they're pretty beefy. So it made sense that those were in 3 movies. Like, okay, I get it. Each one, it easily could be its own book. It is its own book, so that makes sense. And
the director's cut had stuff that they couldn't fit in and made the movie ridiculously
long. It was
long.
even longer.
Oh, the director's cut is awesome, though.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it.
Binge watch.
I binge watched all of them.
I totally fell asleep during 2 Towers. But... I know I just lost a bunch of cred there, but that was only because I'd actually been working a lot, and we went to a midnight showing of it. I was done by then, so it wasn't the movie's fault. It was just like I was just barely hanging on.
This chair's comfortable. It's nice and dark.
We were sitting in the back. It was dark, and I was like, "What did I miss?" I think actually don't. Apparently, a good part. I think I woke up for whenever they were fighting. I'm like, "Oh, fighting! Yes, okay." I'm back in.
Cool.
That looks cool. I'm not. I'm not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan. I did read the books like when the movie came out, when they announced them, and then I was like, oh, I'll read them. So I did do my due diligence. I read the books. Don't remember too much of them, but I did read them. I did watch all the movies, but for me, once I was like, yeah, that was fun. But you liked them a lot, and I think Carrie's a big fan of the movies as well, so...
I can't say that I read them, though.
No, yeah.
I'm not a big reader in general.
But you like the movies.
Yeah.
And yeah... I'm not in that camp, but I understand it. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Wait, so did you read like the Jurassic Park novels?
I didn't actually read those.
Okay.
Did you read them?
No, I thought there was a trend going.
Where I try to... Usually, well, this was more recent. Like the Jurassic Park ones came out when I was in middle school, high school, or something like that. I wasn't really reading back then that often unless I was forced to, and even then I really didn't care to.
I don't think anybody did.
I know some people who did.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, I read that book. It's like, and now they're making a movie out of it. Ahead of the game.
The book was
Ahead of the
better.
curve. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. And usually it's understandable. It has more insights to the character and stuff like that. It tends to be better.
That seems to be the general consensus. Like, I watch movies and everyone's like, you didn't read the book? The book is so much better. I'm like, I don't have time.
Yeah, yeah, totally understandable.
Everyone says it too. It's like it's understandable that the book's going to be better, though, due to the fact that, like you said, you can have the insight to the characters. Like, you can have the monologues of them talking to themselves, basically, or thinking in their head. You can't really have in a movie.
Not really, you're right.
I mean, because it's really hard to portray that without, like...
Unless you're Deadpool.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you're
Which will
Deadpool,
make
that's
it's going to
no
make the Deadpool movie awesome. But I wonder what they're going to... But I wonder if there's any movies that were better than the books, though. I mean, there's got to be.
There has to be, but
I don't
would
know
never know because
you don't read the
I
books.
would honestly say that the movies are better than the books just because
Because there's
like
no reading, right? It definitely has a +1 in that column. But, yeah, okay, so where
we were just at Captain America Civil War. After that, for Marvel, the next one would be Doctor Strange in 2016 on November 4th.
Ah,
which-
yes.
Rumored, not confirmed yet, is Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yes.
Well done.
Well, I keep...
Yes,
in my head,
know.
I have it the
I
way
know.
you say it.
Those are the fans. Yes. Yes. We were talking about it off, but what he calls his fans, basically. Or I don't know if he calls them that, or if they call themselves that. I think they call themselves that, because I don't think he'd call them.
What?
His fans, Cumberbatch's fans, are called Cumberbitches.
Oh, I've heard that. It was on
Jimmy Kimmel or something.
Kimmel,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
It was, I'd heard about that. I was like, okay, that's pretty funny. That's pretty good. But I didn't know who called. I think they called themselves.
I think
that.
they call themselves that. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, if I was gonna be like a fan, that's good. I like that. But he's rumored to be that he's gonna be like it's pretty strong rumors that point to him.
And all the speculation says that totally makes sense. It would be awesome if they finally did confirm it, which everyone has a pretty good percentage on him. Yeah, a pretty strong percentage saying yes, it is going to be him, but they just are waiting for the right time to announce it.
I guess, because I mean, he seems like the kind of guy who would want to do it, because he's played Sherlock Holmes now. He's been in Star Trek. He's been in The Hobbit.
He's going to be in Star Wars.
Is he going to be in Star? That's the thing. It's like if he's going to be, he just
gonna
needs to be in Star Wars. You throw him in as a. So would he be a Jedi or a Sith? You think he'd be good? I mean,
I can see him being a bad guy.
He's played both sides. Sherlock's good. Khan's bad. Smog's bad. Doctor Strange will be good. So he can play both.
He's got to be a Sith and then balance it out.
He got to be Sith, or does he switch in between? Like he starts out, maybe he goes the other way. Maybe he goes from Sith to Jedi. Like he goes, usually go Jedi to Sith, but it's like, I don't like these Sith. I'm going to become a Jedi now. I'm good now.
A mercenary.
He goes mercenary. Yeah,
he'll be a Boba Fett
with a lightsaber.
Yes.
Just made a new character kind of thing. But yeah, that's all he needs to basically become a king of movie nerd characters, like in franchises, basically.
And then he'll become a Cumberbatch too.
Yes. Well, no, we binge watched Sherlock actually.
Sherlock is awesome.
There's only technically 3 seasons, and they're all
3 episodes.
3 episodes,
but they're all 2 hours long.
Yes, we were wondering because we were binge watching it on Netflix, so it just runs through them. We were wondering, is that how it runs on? If you watch it on BBC America, it's just literally just a long 2 hour. Oh, okay. Because I was like, maybe they chop these up.
That's why it takes so long for them to come out.
Because
it's basically almost like 3 movies worth in a season.
Yeah, I remember watching that.
It is awesome. Oh, Sherlock is an awesome show.
Yeah, they did a really good job. Was that? And that was before he did Star Trek, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Sherlock was kind of the the big thing that he did, because he did stuff before, but that was the big
His breakout.
role was for Sherlock, and then he started getting the other stuff.
He did amazing in Sherlock.
He definitely found his niche in there.
Well, and then so hopefully that happens. But after Doctor Strange, we're gonna have Guardians of the Galaxy 2 on May 5th of 2017, the year after.
Yes. Who would have thought, like, if you went back in time, that we'd be excited for a part 2 of a movie that we're like,
Because it's all about the Awesome Mix Volume 2.
Yeah.
they have, and James Gunn is directing it too. Like, I think he's coming back for it, so that's good.
Nice.
But I mean, he set himself pretty high bar to jump, because I mean,
I have
Guardians
I think
is
he can
good.
believe.
It's really a tight movie. Like, it kind of doesn't really drag. Maybe showing some of the actually villain scenes, it kind of, if anything, is the only parts where it really drags. Everything else is really quick, keeps moving, and just never really lets you drag too much, but still doesn't get into that action where it's too. Somehow he balanced it out where
Really
each action
well.
scene still felt like fresh, like you weren't burnt out by the end. They still had enough, but even the lull parts were still kind of moving fast.
The lull parts also had a bunch of the emotional scenes in there too.
The emotional
Hits
scenes
you
are
right in
kind
the
of
feels.
what sets it apart from a lot of other Marvel ones, is because not a lot of other ones have those emotional feels that Guardians had.
Yeah, it definitely
Eloquently put.
the feels. Yes,
Yeah, it's the feels.
Hits you right there. Right
It
in the
was-
feels.
well put together, and like I said, it's gonna be hard to top. I mean, we're still excited about it way after we saw it, and I wonder how you top it, or at least do as good, because now
Because the sequels,
it
it's always hard to do as good as the first.
especially if your first was really that awesome. Mix part 1.
But Avengers 2 looks like it's going to blow the first one away.
Looks like it, yeah.
And then, well, I don't want to get too far ahead in the calendar.
But yeah, Avengers 2, yeah.
Well, we can move on to the next
And they're also using characters that have built up for Avengers 2 as well. They had their own set of movies, and they had the Avengers, then they had their own set of movies again. Well, most of them except for Hulk, because Hulk's sad. Hulk get no movie on his own. So, other than him,
everyone
everyone
seems
else,
fine with. No
yes,
one's really
I'm not
clamoring
hurting for a Hulk movie. Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to begin. So yeah, no, I'm okay with that. I'm not complaining that we didn't. I'm happy with what we did get. I really liked Captain America 2. Iron Man 3 was good. Thor was good. I'm thinking it's kind of a little bit more foggy, but yeah.
The second Thor was good.
Yeah.
So they built up to that one, and it's paying off, and it'll probably pay off in the second one. So Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardian Galaxy 2 was the last one. What's coming next after that for Marvel was Thor Ragnarok. July 28th of 2017.
They didn't really say much about it, right? They just announced the title.
Yeah, they just kind of...
Yeah,
And
and
I
I
mean,
think
I think at this point on,
Loki
it's more
was making a comeback as a character, and then I forgot what his name was.
Thanos?
No, the Guardian for the Rainbow Bridge.
Oh. The big guy.
Yeah, the Erdis Elba
character.
plays him. Yeah.
Well, he's going to be in that one.
Yeah,
he plays a big role in that one.
They said both of them are gonna. Yeah, they're both gonna be in that movie.
Ah, okay. I mean, Loki is such a really good villain, actually.
And I think he was gonna have a more expanded role in that one too.
Well, I mean, he is like
I
a fan
think he
favorite.
should.
Like, if anything, he in some ways might have more fans than Thor, technically, or at least be on par with Thor
Yeah.
for a villain. So,
For a villain, he is very popular for a villain.
I'm not surprised. They should expand his role, because as the villains go, for the most part, they're kind of
He's
technically
loved by the
forgettable.
ladies.
Yeah.
I like him. Well, because I barely remember the bad guy in Thor, the second
one?
one. Yeah, like I remember who it is. It was the Dark Elves, but didn't really. Yeah, it
See,
happened.
I forgot
kind of
that.
thing. You see, exactly. I mean, you remember the bad guy from Cap America because it's kind of the title of the movie, so kind of hard to forget that one.
Bucky Barnes.
Yeah, but I mean, he's such a. I mean, more Loki is not a bad thing. So, yeah, I mean, there's not much information on that one at the moment. So, it's probably gonna be another Thor movie, probably set in Asgard or something. But
yeah,
that'll be fun.
And then after that,
Steven's
movie, Black Panther, on November 3rd of 2017.
Which, if you are a listener of our podcast, you will know. Back when he was here, must have been a couple episodes ago, where we were talking about
like 3 episodes ago.
I think we were talking about Avengers, and I think I was talking about Spidey possibly at that time joining, being like them letting Spidey into the Avengers movies, and at the time Steven just kept saying the words Black Panther. That was the argument, and there was no more words needed. Like, I'm pretty sure he said a lot. Yes,
Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that
says how he went. I mean, you can go back and listen to it, and that's all he says. And apparently, if you say it enough times,
Black Panther,
it comes true.
I think he said it like 10 times into a mirror in the dark or something.
whatever he did, it worked.
Yeah.
And ever since I've heard about the announcement, everyone I've heard get to that one, it's like, and they're doing a Black Panther movie. It's like, and that's awesome. And I'm like, I don't know him. I don't think Ben knows much about him. Corey?
I don't have a big...
But apparently, if you know him, he's super awesome, because everyone who said...
I know him from the game, from Ultimate Alliance.
Well, that's something, yeah. But apparently, he's a really awesome character, according to anyone who, I guess, read his book, which made me want to read his book. When I was at Kamikaze this past weekend, I always go to the comic book, like one of the booths, which is funny, because there's not a ton of comic book booths there. There's a lot of other stuff. But the one I always go to, it's a little cheaper, but they didn't have any of the books. I'm like, I'm going to go grab, a Black Panther anthology or something just to find out, but that was gone kind of thing. If they even had one, but now I guess I understand why, because you want to know. And I want to know. Sometime.
There's not a video online yet that gives a quick synopsis of...
Well, his movie isn't coming out till when?
2017,
so
November
there's time.
3rd.
I think they'll come out then. And there's probably videos, but
3
the
years.
series I watch about that does histories of, that I really like, the Variant Comics.
I really like
I really like
Aries Quinones.
Yeah, I like what he does, and I like the episodes. I'll just wait till he does it. I'm sure there's other histories of right now, but I like the way he puts together. I like what he has to say.
He has a very well structured out review of the histories of each of the characters that he does, and
it's got to be weird for him too now, because they did all these announcements, and he's like, look at all these things that people are going to want to know about, but
like,
if he does them all now, exactly. Well, he can't do them all now because some of these movies ain't coming out for a couple of years, so he'd be getting ahead of himself if he did a history now of like Black Panther, and then 3 years from now it's like, I did that.
It would only serve to build up the hype.
As if it needed more, because apparently everyone loves Black Panther. I don't know much about him, and that's on me. So I'm gonna catch up, and
I'll probably learn about all of the characters that are coming out
in due time.
But apparently, big deal. No, another one people didn't think ever happened. So standalone movie, well done, kudos. What's next?
Right. So the next one would be Avengers: Infinity War Part 1.
Yes,
in 2018 on May 4th. I am very excited for this.
And they've been building this since the first Avengers.
The first
It
Avengers
keeps getting bigger. And
even
bigger.
in like freaking Guardians of the Galaxy, they have the Infinity Stone.
Although I want to say, when they came out with the first Avengers, I think their original idea was that Thanos was going to probably be in the second one. And then they're like, wait, we could probably expand upon this and move that out one, and then...
Because the whole Thanos plot is huge.
Right.
I mean, because the whole Infinity Wars...
Did I let you borrow that book?
Yeah, I read that one.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah, and it's big, and it's kind of like the Civil War, except somehow it's actually possibly bigger because it's
universal.
It's universal, so yeah. So the Civil Wars are going to be big, but then the Infinity... Well, because I let you borrow the Infinity Gauntlet, but I guess... which is probably what they're going to focus on for this one, but the Infinity War itself, I think, goes even beyond that. Like, I don't know, it seems like they're going to focus just on the Gauntlet story, which is good. Even itself is a huge undertaking. Which
I mean, I don't know how they're gonna do that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of characters too. That well, I guess they're gonna. I guess they're gonna maybe use. Because Stephen Strange is a pretty big deal in this one. He has a side story, I think, in that one where he's doing something separate from the main team that's going after him. So they're introducing him here. I don't remember reading about Black Panther in that, but it seems like they might be throwing in.
They'll
these
probably
new
throw
ones
in other characters into all these movies coming out beforehand
to get them introduced.
So, like, here's these characters, and then that way when they do them, the Infinity War is not like,
oh, I saw that guy in the Strange movie.
That was this one. Kind of like Hawkeye and Black Widow. How like they're in the other movies, so then like they pop up again, and it's like, oh, I know that.
That was Hawkeye. He was in Thor.
Yeah.
And I forgot what Black Widow was in, actually. Was she in the movie before?
She did.
Was she in
Iron Man?
Oh, she was in Iron Man?
She was in Iron Man 2.
Oh, okay.
Because she was like the secretary person. That was like, I think, the first time she was introduced.
Okay. So yeah, it's like you're saying.
So it's like, that way you have a familiarity. It's like, oh, there's this person.
If you want, you can go back and watch them like, oh, there they are.
Oh, yeah. That because I forgot that Hawkeye was actually in the first Thor. Until I rewatched Thor, I was like, oh, he is in there.
He's got that small part where it's small, but it's focused on him.
And it introduces a character without, like, it's not his movie, but it gives you the introduction. So then when it came to the first Avengers, it wasn't like, oh, who is this guy?
It's pulled him right out.
Like, no, he was in the... They've introduced him. They didn't give him backstory or anything, really, but they introduced him already, so... I think they're going to be doing that for the Infinity War and everything.
Using the movies that come before it to start throwing at all these characters and trying to get the audience at least a little bit of like, see, this guy's here. So if he appears later on, then he wasn't whole cloth. You'll see him there.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
I think it'll be good.
But yeah, it's pretty big, and I'm really looking forward to be honest, to all these movies. Yeah. So, but I mean, yeah, that's a big one because I mean, it is Avengers 3 too, kind of thing. Like, well, it's bigger than Avengers kind of thing, but it's kind of
because it's going to be part 1 and part 2. So
yeah, it's kind of their next big crossover because it feels like Age of Ultron it's Avengers Age of Ultron, but it's kind of their big crossover movie where they have the characters, and then Infinity War is their next big crossover where they're throwing a bunch of characters in together. It's the next event movie.
Well, what about Civil War?
Oh yeah, Civil War. Too.
So it'll probably go Civil War, and
it's a little weird with Civil War because it actually isn't it Cap America Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a
like
big
a Cap
one,
movie,
but it's still a Cap movie. So yeah, I didn't even really think about it. So I thought, it's a big crossover movie, or at least. It should be because Civil War is a big crossover. So
yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of excited just to see how it turns out and see where it goes from there.
Oh yeah, I have no idea.
I'm sure they're gonna do something amazing with it, and I'm sure it'll come out great. So I'm gonna stay along for the ride.
And that's just
a very long ride.
A long ride because Infinity War I'm excited for, and it's in 2018. That's 4 years away.
Wow. We were talking about like it's coming out next month or something. But
aren't you excited?
It's so long.
But right after Avengers Infinity War, we're going to get Captain Marvel in July. July 6th of 2018 as well.
That's another one where I don't know too much about the character. But I mean, it's got a long storied history. I mean, and it's going to be the first female superhero that's running completely her own movie. Is that before Wonder Woman or after?
Wonder Woman is before that.
So Wonder Woman will be.
She will have
her standalone movie. First.
Wonder Woman is in 2017, the year before June 23. So almost a whole year before.
She'll have a first step at the.
See if
trying it, but that's also the first one to possibly fail. So hopefully not. Fingers crossed they're both good. You know, actually, I want all of the movies to be good.
Yeah,
but even if they're not, they're still going to get my money.
See, I think Wonder Woman could definitely hold her own movie. Just because she's a female lead doesn't mean that They can't hold their own movie.
Yeah, you'd have to tell DC that though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Warner Brothers, sorry.
And then there's gonna be that female spin-off of Spider-Man before
Before
that one comes out too. Well, after
so it's
Wonder
gonna
Woman,
gonna be Wonder Woman, the Spider-Man female lead one, a spin-off, and then we'll have Captain Marvel. So they're kind of
They're in their own like little phase right there, where it's like phase
like,
of the
let's
female
throw
superhero.
these female superheroes, see how they do. If they do good, great.
One of these has got to work, right?
which one's gonna stick?
So it's who's gonna win? Sony, Warner Brothers, or Marvel?
Everyone's throwing out their own one.
They're like,
So we'll
"Here."
we'll throw all our darts at the same time, see which one wins. Hopefully they all win. They're all good. Although I don't know
would
much about
love if they all win.
the Spider-Man one.
Is it gonna be the Spider-Woman?
I think they were saying something like that. Like I remember some of the pictures coming out when they first announced it, and like, oh, like they're trying to bring this character out, and I think they matched up the costume and everything too with some of the weird poses, and I think that was the thing. It was the posters that they came out with,
Oh yes, I saw those. Yeah.
and they're like, what is this? This is too seductive, and this is too whatever. And other people are like, I don't care. It's
a comic.
It's coming out.
Yeah, some people are too sensitive. Well, anyways, after Captain Marvel, we're getting the Inhumans on November 2nd of 2018.
Yeah, that's another one I don't know anything about. Although I heard that that kind of actually falls into the what I've heard is people are like, I don't think I never thought they'd make a movie of these characters, kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy kind of thing. Like, I never thought I'd see a movie about these particular characters, kind of thing.
But they're doing
so far
it.
what I've heard, and yeah, they're doing it. And the people that have read, they're like, yeah, it should be interesting actually. So I still have to another one yet I have to catch up on. So actually, I'll probably look into it and probably move. I would say move them to the top of my reading list so I know what they're about. But I have ample time to catch up on them, apparently. Like a couple years of time to catch up on them. So, maybe not the top of the list.
And then the last thing for their Phase 3 is going to be the Avengers Infinity War 2, coming out May 3rd of 2019. So basically a year after the first one comes out, they're going to release the second one.
And
Which
that
makes
seems to be-
sense. Like,
that's
you
how
kind of
they
need
always
to have
do
the
it.
two parties within a year of each other.
Mm-hmm.
They always tend to actually do them a year from each
Well,
other.
because they usually record them all at the same time and they just release them.
cut them in half.
Yep.
Or
Unless-
in some cases into 3 parts.
Weird.
Thank you, Hobbit, for that. But yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of stuff to look forward, worth living for, if you can
And that's
manage
just
it.
Marvel.
And it's just Marvel too.
Like,
that's
that's
true.
not Warner Brothers. That's not Sony. That's not all of these other people that are coming out with great ones.
Is there? I think we talked about this before, where like 2015 is going to be technically kind of light on movies. Like,
Yeah, it's just three.
3.
yeah.
After
but then
that, though, it's
16.
16, they've got
It just explodes. Like, it just takes
7
off.
of them in 16,
And it's just
10 in 2017, 7 in 18, then 3 in 19, and 2 in 20. But see, that's only what's been
currently,
announced.
like, if they do, like, oh, this
I mean,
movie did really well, let's throw out a sequel to this
Yeah.
Doctor Strange 2,
'Cause
Stranger
there's still
Tides.
other ones that they don't know when they're doing it yet. There's like 6 other ones that they don't even have a year yet, so those could be thrown in any of those years.
Just
so.
another X-Men, a Gambit movie,
Sandman, Justice League Dark, another
Superman
Untitled
standalone
Superman
movie, and a Batman,
Batman
standalone movie.
Yeah, there's
there's a
plenty of
ton.
space to do it. But then that also leads into some people saying, there's a good chance the bubble may burst. There may be too much superhero movies. Like, people get burnt.
Don't really see that being a problem with Marvel, though, just because their stories are so tied in together and so well planned out and thought
True.
out.
But then
DC,
it's kind
I
of
can
just...
DC, we don't
kinda
know yet for DC.
Well, it's
so-
more just not even just the companies, just like the fact that people might get burnt out on specifically just superhero movies. I was like, oh, not us, obviously, because we see the greater things as that, but like, it's like, oh, it's another superhero movie. Kind of, people who see them as that, not like we're looking at individual movies. They could look at the same chart and say superhero movie, superhero movie, superhero movie, and not even really look at the titles of them. They just see it for what
they
it
just
is.
see like on this, it's just like, oh, it's just a bunch of superheroes. Not even knowing that there's DC and Marvel, like what the difference is, and just be like, they're just all superheroes.
And those are the people like they've always had the kind of the nerds and stuff, or the people that watch it as their audience. But what really made it pick up was when you get the casuals that now are like, I love this movie. Then once you get those people in, which has happened recently in the past couple of years, when you've been bringing in the casuals together with the other ones, that's when it started to really take off. Because you could put out a movie way back in the day and you'd have the comic book geeks who are like, I'm gonna watch it, but then once you got the casuals, now you're making the money. But if people were thinking, well, if you lose them, like they're like, I don't want to see another superhero movie, which is crazy talk because people keep seeing Transformers.
So how many they dropped out of.
So I mean, I doubt it's going to happen, but it's something that, like, seeing this list, there's a good amount of them.
But I'm not sure how that explains Guardians of the Galaxy, though, because, I mean, I didn't really know too much about it. Like, you had to be kind of more hardcore to know about it.
Definitely a hardcore one. Kind of like the same thing as the Inhumans.
So they were able to pull beyond that and reach all the way to casual for that, and that one was...
No.
Well, that one, I think, pulled in the casuals on the strength of its marketing. Its trailers and how it was marketed was done very well. So a lot of that work, actually, of bringing people into the movie. I mean, it was a good movie anyway.
Yeah.
But what really got people excited, even me and us, who, like I said, like you said, aren't really fans, don't know anything about it. If the trailer had been not that good or kind of we would have been like, okay, but then the trailers made us just want to be there day one. So a lot of props goes out to their marketing team and whoever did that part, and basically whoever cut their trailers, because they were probably, James Gunn probably was in on that too. They really got those people in there to see their awesome movie day one.
And what also helped them too is the fact that it was an awesome movie. They also got, on top of all the trailers and everything, they got the word of mouth. It's like, oh, people went to see this. It's like, oh, this is awesome. You need to go see this.
If you didn't already see it once,
if you didn't see it, it's like, you need to go see this. Oh, you saw it? Go see it again.
Yeah, it was definitely the feel. It was the movie itself was awesome, so it didn't lack. It didn't have a really awesome trailer and then fail in the movie. Thankfully, actually, that it didn't do that. So yeah, I mean, as long as they do continue that, like your Inhumans is going to need something like that. I mean, it might not fit as they did for Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's going to need something a really good. Actually, it might not need as strong, because Guardians definitely gave Marvel a lot of credit to work with, actually, because now I think more people trust them. Like, oh, it's a Marvel movie. Okay, exactly, we do. And I think a lot of just casuals like, oh, this Marvel thing, they did. I like the movie they did, so it's playing on,
See, that's another thing too. Is like, I think by doing that, they're drawing their distinction between DC and Marvel among the casual viewing audience too. So, I mean, there's an awareness, even if not entirely sure who's who. But, like, even with the TV shows like Gotham that come out, have been out, Arrow, Flash, they're like, oh, well, this is separate.
Well,
do they really know, though?
I don't think they really know.
I don't really think they know that.
I mean, I think they get a sense that this is different from... It's two separate universes. I don't know if it's like they're related within the same company, or if it's just like, oh, well, two different separate entities. Like,
I think they just think superhero at that point.
Honestly, yeah.
Because and even Gotham's kind of a little weirder, because it doesn't even really focus on the superhero. It's more focusing on everything
and they kind
around the superhero.
Pushing, like, kind of beat you over the head saying, oh, this is the Penguin, this is the Riddler, this is... These are
well,
all the-
for us,
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
Catwoman. Yeah.
for people, I mean, I guess a lot of society probably knows those characters because we've already had movies based on them. So if they've seen the movies, there's been the TV shows, there's been the animated. So there's been a lot of stuff Batman centric. So like a lot of people have had a lot of interactions with characters like the Joker. A lot of people probably know who the Joker is by now, even if they don't read comics. It's kind
I
of
hope they don't introduce the Joker into Gotham.
they're not going to introduce. I mean, it seems like they definitely know what they wanted to do from the outset. It's not. It takes place in the Batman universe, but it's not Batman, pretty much. So, I think I don't foresee him. And for a while, I was like, they should do something that leads to Batman. But I've changed my stance now because me and Steven were talking about it. And I was kind of it'd be good to flash forward and see like quick snippets of him when he becomes the Batman, not like full episodes of that, but like what he's going to eventually become, where it's a jump forward just a little bit, and then you're like, oh, okay, because I felt like I could use that, but then now I'm like, after watching a few more episodes, I'm like, okay, that's fine the way it is.
I really don't think they need that. I mean,
no,
it's about James Gordon. So
It's about everyone else.
it's not about Bruce Wayne. It's not about Batman. It's about Gotham,
right?
And the city of Gotham and how corrupt it is in general. I mean, that's how it is in Batman too. How it's always corrupt, you know. So, I really hope they don't do any of the Batman stuff. I mean,
they should kill him.
Kill Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he just kind of gets in the way. He's the one that brings the trouble. He's the reason. Actually, I think there is.
You're gonna bring a Game of
A
Thrones
side-
element into this?
I've heard
Kill
there's
him.
a side that says that like that Batman kind of brings out the crazier, like the show villains kind of thing. I mean, it's one of many theories. It's like he's the reason they kind of exist, kind of thing. Like you had the mobsters and the corruption, but you have Batman coming and he kind of cleans up a lot of that. But then now you have these bigger villains that like are very flamboyant, like the Joker, who is not just about the crime; it's about the whole production of the crime and stuff like that. And you wouldn't have these.
The Batman.
It's about the Batman. So if you didn't have the Batman, you wouldn't have these ones that were looking for like to beat the Batman. It's just a theory I've heard out there, but
I've heard that theory as
I
well.
was like, oh, that's
Wasn't it
interesting.
in one of the animated series too?
Yeah, I mean,
Where
probably.
I think when Mark Hamill was doing the voice of the Joker, I think one of the lines he was saying is like, "Without Batman, crime has no punchline."
Oh yeah, the one where where Batman dies or maybe dies, where he's doing the eulogy for Batman, and yeah, he even knows it. He needs the Well, Joker definitely needs the Batman.
Oh yeah, without Batman, Joker's
Not the
nothing.
Joker. Yeah,
He's not the Joker.
Yeah.
they make that point a lot that he's kind of he knows he needs him, and they need each other to like.
They both know it. Batman needs the Joker, and the Joker needs Batman.
Yeah. So in Gotham, I when it was first beginning, I was like, I kind of wanted more Batman, but then again, as I've seen a few more episodes, I'm like, okay, I get it now, and that's on me for not picking up on it. I was like, I was looking for something different, and I like what they've done with it, so I have nothing against it or anything. I like the way it is, and I'm glad I was incorrect when I was saying that. I was like, yeah, okay, I see what they're doing, and I'm totally on board for this, and I like to see where they go. And plus, for the said Batman fix, there will be eventually a movie starring Batfleck in 2016.
2016, the Batman v
It's
Superman.
Superman's Batman movie.
Right.
Yep.
Batman featuring or sidekick to be named
Yeah,
Superman.
it used to be Superman 2. Now it's Batman v Superman. Not even Superman v Batman.
Because Batman makes money, and we
Yeah.
needed to make money, so we're going to put Batman in there.
Put Batman first. Batman's better.
We don't want Batman to be angry. He's like, that's a fictional character. Don't make Batman angry. Otherwise, you won't be in our movie. We need him in our movie because he makes money. Didn't you see the other movies? Batman and Robin?
Batman.
No, not that movie. The other movies. Well, okay. But, yeah, it is they are throwing all their chips on that movie. Like that's because
If
that one
that
even has
doesn't do-
cameos with. I think it's supposed to have a Wonder Woman cameo and basically
It's
It's supposed to
Justice
have
League.
almost everybody in that thing.
So they are really throwing it out there, and which I thought was weird that it's so far away. To be honest, because I mean, they announced Batman
A
v
lot.
Superman a while ago this year, so that's one full year. Like I've always kind of kept saying, is one full year of Marvel just kicking DC's butt because DC doesn't have anything in the theaters.
And another year of them kicking
And
it, but-
yeah, so it's like this year and next year where DC's like waiting. We've set the date for 2 years out. Like you're going to be working on the movie for 2 years of time. Like it's that big. That's like not 1 year can contain this. We need 2 years of everything. So I'm like, I better see 2 years worth of effort in there, not 1 year and 1 year of just this was last year's graphics kind of thing.
It better. I'm hoping it's gonna be really good.
It
I
better
have
be
high
worth
hopes
the
for
wait,
it.
kind of thing. I'm already excited to see it, no doubt, but it's kind of like the fact that they're holding it back for as long as it is. It just makes me think, well, okay. I mean, although they're still filming now, so it'll go into next year and then be in post. So, and when is it? When is it coming out? Actually,
It's March 25th of 2016.
Okay, I guess it's not 2 whole years of them just sitting on a movie.
Now.
Yeah, now.
But
like
since they announced it.
since they announced it's like, are you working on it? We will. We're going to, kind of thing. Like, okay.
It's like, what are you doing now? Writing the script.
Kind of writing stuff, hashing stuff out. You mean the movie you announced? Yeah, we're getting around to it. Definitely on our to-do list.
We can't tell you because we don't know.
But I mean, it is the kickoff to their whole thing, so they better do it right. Because they got a lot of characters. They got all their A-list characters too. That's the kicker too. If you fail with your Batman, with your Superman, and a little bit of Wonder Woman, and a little bit of Justice League, basically.
You got your Trinity, you got your Justice League, you got
If
everything.
you're failing at that point, that is a bad thing. I mean, they've got all these plans for other movies, but I mean,
If that one fails, all the rest are gonna go down the drain.
it's going to be rough. Yeah, they're all going to be fighting from the back of the pack, basically.
Yeah, this
again.
is basically setting the foundation
yeah.
for what they're trying to build.
Hopefully, it's a steady foundation as opposed to
Built on sand.
a faulty foundation. Exactly, because
Might as well put Sandman first then.
at that point, it's like, I just throw any movie. We don't care anymore. Because I mean, some people have claimed that DC's way of doing it, where it seems like they're going straight. I mean, although technically Justice League for DC is later, it's not. This first movie isn't actually Justice League, although we kind of had a feeling from who
Justice
they were
League
saying
Light.
it was going to be a Justice League movie, and then they're like, oh, it's kind of like you said, Justice League Light, I think, because it's like, why didn't they build up them separately like they did for It seems like they just want to go straight to Avengers, but it seems like they did try to do individual movies, but they just weren't very good. Like Green Lantern, if it had been better, it would have been one of those, built upon movies, and you would have probably seen them. You would have had your Superman standalone movie, so that's 2 of them that would have been standalone. I think there might have been something else I'm forgetting that was a standalone movie, but it failed, so it was like, well, we can't use that one because they had to throw out Green Lantern, and they're going to retry it later on. But it seems like those were their attempts at like, okay, we'll do it that way. We'll try to do a slow burn and into it. We'll start introducing them, but the movies keep failing, so it's problematic because they're like, well, we can't keep doing this. We gotta just come out with it eventually. So it seems like that's what they're doing. Plus, the Batman movies kind of didn't do any of them any favors in the universe building department. It
didn't. And those things did amazing too. It's like, I really wish they would have
if they had
made it.
If they had made it part of the universe, it would have been a really good start. Then you would have had, okay, now we have something to pivot off of. But they didn't.
Yeah, and I think we were talking about that last time too, was like the TV shows and the movies aren't even connected.
Right.
Like they're separate, and
Yeah.
they even announced like the Flash.
They're doing a
Different
Flash
actor.
movie, yeah.
from the TV.
Personally, I think
series and
that's
everything, right?
kind of a waste. It's Batman, Chris Nolan's Batman all over again, kind of thing. It's like, yeah, these are awesome. Are you gonna connect them to anything else? No.
Nah.
Well, at least they connected them to each other, so that's
the TV
something.
shows, but it's like you have these characters that you're developing already that people are getting attached to, and then you're going to come out with a movie, and you're not even going to use those characters that people have grown attached to.
And you're gonna start from scratch.
Yeah, and if they're doing the Flash, if they do another Barry Allen, then it's like, then people are going to be confused if they've been watching the Flash TV show. It's like, well,
Unless they do a Wally West.
yeah, because I think that's what we talked about before. Is if they do the Flash Wally West, then it could work.
Could continue.
But I think Barry Allen is the better choice, though,
Yeah.
for Justice League.
No, I was thinking about that. Like, I was kind of bummed when I heard that they weren't connecting them, because that's kind of the reason I was catching up too. Is like, oh, it'll be good because I'll connect, but they're also good shows, so I don't mind watching them. But they could use the multiverse, DC anyway, and I guess that's the idea. Is I guess Arrow and the Flash take place in alternate universes,
So on a Universe 2 or whatever.
yeah, like on an Earth 2 kind of thing. And part of me was like, oh, that'd be interesting if they actually somehow use the multiverse.
That
in
would
the
be
series. Like, if they could somehow, I mean, it'd be stretching out the audience a bit
I
to
mean,
get them on board to figure out what's going on.
because it's confusing even in the comics trying to figure it out. And
But it is something that a lot of their good crossovers really take advantage of really well, is the use of the multiverse, different versions of them. So if they do that, and they still have like the Flash and they don't have a Green Arrow, I'm guessing, for the movies, but they do have a Flash. So they could just bring out, like, it's like, oh, that Flash failed. Okay, kill him. We'll use the one from Earth 2.
he died.
Oh, he died. But
Whoops.
here's an
But
extra
look.
one from that ran in from a different, because I think the Flash can run
He can run through
between universes, basically.
because he shifts the particles or the atoms. And
So you could easily just like, yeah, we got this one over there. He just ran in, kind of thing. So like, okay, there you go. Retcon.
oh, look, and he brought the Green Arrow with him
He
too.
was holding the Green Lantern. How convenient.
He brought the whole team.
There you
Yes,
go.
he brought a whole team with him. And if we don't like any of them, we can have them take them back.
Oh yeah, they went back to Earth too.
It's like, oh, that's like, that guy's not a crowd favorite. Better take that one back. Bring us another one, actually. They just keep bringing in the actors.
Earth 3?
Earth 3? Yeah.
Yeah?
That's good.
No?
Bizarro.
There you go. No, that didn't.
Bizarro, Green Arrow. It's like, this one? No. Definitely not that one. Take that one back.
Take it back. Different universe. Try again.
Because an introduction of the multiverse would just be crazy, actually. It'd be pretty big, and it could unfortunately become convoluted because you're only working in a movie where it's set time, so it's not like a comic where you have a lot of space to work with. So I don't imagine they'd ever do
I
that.
feel it do work better as a TV series than a movie.
Yeah, but I agree.
A multiverse in a movie?
Yeah,
Or
as a
TV.
TV series.
TV. Yeah. Yeah.
You can have it go like 10 seasons long.
Yeah, it would take that long to explain it.
All these weird things happening. Yeah, but I mean, if they did, because like I said, I was bummed that they were saying, yeah, the Flash and the TV shows and the movies are separate, a separate entity. I'm like, and it seemed dumb to me. Like, why would you do
I
that?
thought ever since that I found out about that, I thought it was a stupid idea. Because I've been invested in the Arrow since it started. Actually,
I still haven't seen it.
it's so much better now.
I've been working my way through it. I don't think I've gotten through the first. I think I'm more than halfway through the first season, like where it started getting good. Like everyone said, and I didn't think it was bad in the beginning. Like everyone kind of had said, "Oh, well, you had to get through the beginning. It's kind of slow and not that great in the beginning, but it gets better later on." And I went in thinking that. I was like, "Okay, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. Just write it out." I'm like, "Oh, it wasn't too bad. It was okay." kind of thing.
Because you set your
See, a part of-
expectations low.
I
Yeah, but
expectations
see,
really low.
Part of the reason is you watch it and then like you get to like the later seasons and you look back on those first ones and it's like, yeah, it wasn't that good
Yeah, if you do it
compared
that
to
way,
what
yeah.
it is. Compared to what it is now, like it's an actual like TV series, not like you can watch one week and like okay, you can just jump in. Now it's like it's an actual coherent storyline of what's going on, and it's amazing.
And that's, I think I was just starting, we're just starting to do it because Carrie and I are actually watching it together. So we're just getting into like where it really feels like you were saying, like it's a cohesive story. It's got one plot line. It's not individual episodes where it's just like, oh, okay, that happened. Okay, that was fixed. Okay, moving on. It feels like it definitely it's building towards something, which I was expecting because of what everyone was saying. So my expectations at this point were meant to rise, so they are following the curve as intended. But yeah, it was worth it, and I just have much more binge watching to catch up on, and I still have the other things to watch too. So maybe I'll watch it over the weekend.
It's definitely worth a watch. I mean, if anybody hasn't seen The Arrow,
Well, I think Ben still has to watch, but he just caught up on Agents. So
yeah.
Agents, Flash.
See, Flash, definitely catch up on Flash right now because that's an easy catch up. It's only like 4 or 5, 6 episodes in.
But I thought they like had spun off Flash from Arrow. So,
They did, but
like if you watch Arrow,
it basically explains it.
Yeah, I think
actually,
in the beginning, around there.
well,
That's-
with this new episode that came out for The Flash, it did take homage to what was going on back when they introduced Barry Allen into the Arrow. Like,
so that's what I was
Yeah, I
trying
saw
to
that,
yeah,
but I
you
was
saw
a little
you
confused,
were
and
probably
like-
you probably would have been confused because it's like, well, what's with this tension, this whole thing between these two people?
But they clear it up pretty quick.
They
at the
clear it
end.
up for you, but it's like it means a lot more if you've been watching the Arrow and you know the backstory behind that, and then you have the Flash, like what's going on with him and the other person. I'm being very vague because he has
not seen it.
yeah.
So you
So,
should watch Arrow. And
but
I'll
basically,
catch
like
up.
Arrow, it's really good.
I kind of get what's going on. I figured out most of the stuff, but yeah.
No, you can figure it out. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying that it does. You get more out of it if you have the backstory.
You get more of those
what-
moments of going, "Whoa!"
Yeah, it's like it hits you more than knowing what's going on compared to just like, okay, I understand it now. It's like as soon as you just need
that's why I decided to watch it that way.
Yeah.
Watch it as it aired, the way Arrow and then into Flash kind of thing, because I figured Flash would make callbacks or at least little things, nods to the Arrow. So I'm
It
like,
does.
I want to watch this one, and it's worth it. It's a good series, so I don't feel like I'm slogging through it.
And it's not really like that far into it either. It's only on its third season, like barely into the third season.
Mm-hmm.
So you only have 2 seasons, and the second season, that one, if I could go back and binge watch that and just watch all of them if I could, like, because that season I really enjoyed that season.
So yeah, gotta add that to your list of things to watch because you have tons of time.
Now you have
obviously.
time,
Obviously,
since you watch Agents of Shield.
Obviously.
Well, now you're all caught up with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now you have all that binge watching time left over for new shows, like a vacuum.
Yep. Arrow.
Hit your board's a vacuum.
Or
Or
I could focus more on movies again.
Oh yeah, you
Except
do
for-
need to do that.
what, your backlog of movies that you were going to watch, or movies that you've already seen?
Or
and
movies that I
rewatching?
missed. Movies that are coming out.
You do have, I guess, a good amount there, too.
He
Yeah.
has a lot of movies he needs to watch.
I still got I'm fairly caught up on the superhero movies.
Well,
So,
Yeah.
I think there's just a few that I still need to see. But yeah, there's too much on this list that I don't think I can possibly catch up. I'll definitely catch all the Marvel ones for sure, and then I guess Batman v Superman, maybe.
What do you
Kind of
mean?
waiting to hear or see what the early reviews are for that, like when that finally gets closer to release date.
Are you thinking you're not going to watch it?
No, I'll watch it. I'm just not saying I
Oh.
won't watch it opening weekend probably.
You think so? I think there'll be so much hype by that time, and so much it'll be kind of the same.
Same as Big Hero 6, how now you want to see it opening weekend.
Big Hero 6, Guardians of the Galaxy,
Well, that's more
the Batman movies. Basically, I think because it's going to be DC's big thing, so I think it's going to have a monster amount of just hopefully awesome trailers. Heck, even that teaser that they showed at Comic-Con where it's just, they didn't even say anything during the the teaser, where it's just up in the air and then Batman's down.
The Age of Ultron teaser was awesome, even though it was more like a full-fledged trailer, but it was still a teaser.
Yeah, so everything, it's all awesome. Like, I haven't really seen much where it's really like, I don't really want to see that movie kind of thing.
But what do you do when everything is awesome?
You watch
it all.
everything.
What else are you supposed to do? You just
gotta
watch it.
Awesome. But speaking of awesomeness, they announced that Star Wars Episode 7 wrapped up filming. So that's
Do they have like a release for that one?
done. When was it? December
2020.
something, 2015. I think towards the beginning of December. Yeah, but they finished all their filming stuff, so now they're going into post-production.
That's some good news.
So you have, well, basically the original cast, or the main ones, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and then even, who was it? Peter Mayhew coming back as Chewbacca, Warwick Davis coming back as, I think, Wicket the Ewok.
Yes.
They didn't say, but he said
Probably.
he's back. And then like just all this other stuff, and then there was even online they had the release of the concept art for the movie, and that looked really cool. Like, it felt new but still old at the same time. Well, not old, classic.
The original.
Because like when you look at the ships and everything, like they even have this new villain right here holding up, well, spoilers, but Darth Vader's burning helmet.
That's
Charred
okay.
helmet.
They can't see it anyway.
Yeah. Well, they can
There's
go online
nothing
and
there.
look
You
it
can't
up.
see it. Don't imagine it if you don't like spoilers.
Yes.
Imagine nothing in your head right now, and don't look it up on the internet. It's not on the internet. No spoilers.
Like,
We are looking at nothing. We're totally looking at something.
Oh.
That was the sound of us looking at nothing.
Yes.
No spoilers.
Blackness.
But for spoilers, yeah, you can look them all on the internet. It's pretty awesome.
yeah, but November 3rd was the last day of production. So pretty much now it's just a countdown before they say, okay, this is what we have. We're going to splice together a trailer, throw it out there, kind of see how you feel about certain scenes, and depending on the reaction, we'll tweak it a little bit, which is
Yeah.
kind of what they did with Guardians.
So basically, the question is, how do we get into these test audiences?
Yes.
Corey?
Okay.
You need to figure out a way to get us into the... Do they advertise them as not Star Wars test audience or something like that? See this new movie about possibly space.
The
Wars. Space battles.
Space battles.
A
Space
space
battles.
spaghetti western.
Yes. Something like that where they're like... Huh.
Yeah, because I haven't really been checking my emails, but I was regularly getting them for the screenings for all these movies that were coming out.
I get those.
And
Yeah, well, you said
I
you
think
used
you
to
get
go
the
to
same
them a
email.
lot.
I used to go.
It's just
When you had time.
really hard to get to, especially at the time. They're like, oh,
It's
it starts at
7.
6 o'clock or 7 o'clock
Oh.
at this place, but it's first come, first serve. So if you're in line, like they have more people. Say like the
They
place only
overbook it.
seats like
Yeah.
200. They have 400 people waiting in line. So if you're not within that cutoff point,
Yeah.
then
Depending on what movie it is, it's easier or harder to get into. I've been to quite a few of them actually. I almost used to see all my movies through screenings.
Quick question: what was the most awesome one that you saw? Like, because obviously they don't use the title of the movie that what it's going to be. I'm guessing
Sometimes they do.
They do, like ahead. Because I've always figured it was like some kind of vague description, so you're like couldn't just go off and go, I saw.
The very last one that I went to was a Guardians of the Galaxy extended trailer.
Yeah,
people went in and they were expecting to see the whole movie, and they're like, "What? That's it?" And like, yeah, it's said just.
Well, yours was a trailer. It wasn't the actual like. So, what did you think of the movie? Did you like it? How did you feel? Like, you've done those ones.
I've done,
and you've done those ones.
I think the ones
like
I done before was like Project X, and then that train movie.
I've done Nonstop. No, not Nonstop. The one with Jake Gyllenhaal.
No, Chris Pine and
that one. Chris Pine and Denzel Washington.
Yeah,
that was
Unstoppable. Was it?
I don't really know which
movie.
one that was.
Yeah, whatever.
So which one did you see then?
I saw World War Z was one that I did a questionnaire for. I forget the other one I did questionnaire for. But a lot of them are just to go see it, and then you can do an optional questionnaire just to see it. Because I've been to like... I watched Getaway. That one I just watched just because. But that was a big screening. There was like a bunch of people there. I don't know. I can't even list all. I've seen a bunch.
So if you see one for Star Wars, you have to
Or
let us know.
Space battles.
Space battles. I'll keep an eye out. I'll start checking regularly.
I wonder if they do
Actually,
those in the middle of nowhere, like just so like they
out
get
in
untainted.
Ontario or Riverside or something.
Not even in California, like just like in
Bakersfield,
North Dakota or something, some random place where they like, well, we'll get hopefully the most unbiased sample size. Because I mean,
but that's not the demographic.
That's the idea, though. You're trying to get other people that are outside the demographic to watch your movie. Because we're going to watch the movie regardless of what they put on the screen.
We're going to love it.
Yeah, it could be just Luke Skywalker farting into the camera for like the entire thing. It would be like, that was awesome. I don't even know what happened.
Luke
but it was
Skywalker and Han Solo having a farting battle.
Yeah, we're going to watch it. So they don't need to fight for our money. We're going to give it to them.
Just forcing it into the camera.
Yes. Basically. So I think the idea for those test screenings are for, I'd assume, trying to get more of an idea of how to get more people that wouldn't fit in.
For the test screenings, they usually try to get a variety of different people. They need different age groups, different ethnicities,
different backgrounds,
different locations. They they just need a mix of people. That way they can have an average of like
they want a good random sampling to be representative of the greater population.
Makes sense.
And
because usually they'll ask for your age, your gender, and everything for those things because they need to narrow it down. So it's like my like 20s and male. It's like, well, my chance of getting that is like super low. Because it's like, how many other guys my age are just going to love that movie? So it's like, let's get someone that's older.
Which makes me believe that for that movie, they don't even know if they'd even do a test screening so much for the purposes of tweaking it out a bit. They'd probably just like, it's freaking Star Wars. People are going to watch that. I mean, at the very least, we just want to make sure it doesn't have any things that should not be in the movie. We just want to make sure it's edited well. But I mean, we put this out there, people are going to watch it. I mean, unless they always do test screenings for it. It seems like one of those movies that's so big that it doesn't need a test screening. It's going to be
people are going to
watch it. Once you put out Star Wars, you're going to get the casuals easily because they're going to be like, "Oh, everyone's excited about this movie. I should be excited about this movie. I should go see this movie because other people are excited about it." Just that alone.
And Star Wars has crossed among many different generations that it's like everyone's going to love it.
So maybe, I guess, I was thinking in that case, they might not actually do test screenings because it'd almost be like, why waste your money on it?
Yeah.
I mean, you could, but you're not going to learn anything.
I'm pretty sure they'll have like extended trailer screenings or showings.
Kind of thing. But
I'm
that's
sure.
more to generate hype.
Because that's to get the hype up. It's
yeah,
like,
less than like...
And then the giveaway posters, it's like, oh, gotta go.
Yeah, that's the one line that you were saying, like, yeah, there's about 100 seats in this theater and there's 1,000 people in line. You may not get in. But
and like you said, they're at their most ridiculous times too. So it's like, it's really hard to get
for
to
that
those.
case, like, I think if they figured out they were watching Star Wars, there'd be a lot of days off taking that time.
I would take the day off.
I would.
There you go.
It's like, where were you? You were watching that movie, weren't you? What are you talking about? It was awesome.
I was sick. What's that poster you just put up there?
Oh no, this came in the mail. Yeah.
My doctor gave it to me. It's a prescription. It helps me get better. I just look at it for a while and then I feel better, which is probably true. Actually, it'd be like, yeah, I do feel better after looking at that poster. Yeah, that's a prescription poster. Gives good vibes. But yeah, I guess I probably wouldn't do it for that. Probably, I'm guessing.
I mean, it's still a little over a year out, but it's coming. It's going to come pretty quick.
Yeah,
especially
it's 2
with the
years
Disney
out.
marketing machine behind it. Like, it's going to feel a lot quicker, too.
Well, it's the one that kicks off their Star Wars every year thing, right? Like every year they're going to have like a main movie, then like another...
A spin-off, and then the main movie, then spin-off, then a main movie.
But basically it's just going to keep rolling along, which is...
Makes sense.
Good, if they're all good. If the
Which-
spin-off's like, that was useless.
From what I've seen online and from some of the fans that have seen the stuff, it's like, yeah, just a tear just falls down your face. And
Like a good tear or a bad
good
tear?
tear.
Like, oh, it was like,
a tear of
I
happiness.
cried because that was
Epic.
awful.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's why I said tear. I'm like, yeah, there are people crying probably at episode 1 going, huh, I waited for this. There was a Jar Jar in that.
Oh no.
So I mean, just because it's Star Wars, not always a free pass anymore. It got a free pass when the prequels came out, and then that burdened some people. I mean, I think they're okay, but some people have been scarred.
You remember when it first came out, like everyone had to go see it opening night and everything, and it was a thing, a big thing that everyone went out to. And what happened was a lot of people kind of had the blinders on, so they were watching the movie and you kind of glossed over the whole like long storyline, Jar Jar and all that stuff.
They
and
were
then-
able to look past it.
Yeah, at first. So the first few days you were talking about it, and it's like, oh, wow, this is really cool.
Your
and
mind
awesome.
blocked out the portions.
Yeah, it was good, right?
But
Did you see that one guy? No. It was good, right?
See what?
And then you watch it again, and you're like, this is terrible.
Huh. Yeah, I think you're right there. Yeah, it definitely...
Because at first, when I remember, like, when I first saw it, it's like, there was, like, space battles and then shiny ships and everything, and it's like, there's some weird Jar Jar or whatever guy. Not important, but they had this awesome lightsaber battle. Did you see it? It was awesome. It had the cool music and everything. And then when you watch it again a second time, you really have to have those nostalgia goggles, even though you just barely saw it not too long
Off
ago.
the side of your corner of your eye, just like don't look at it dead on, otherwise
Exactly.
the illusion is broken.
And then you watch it again and like, wow, this thing really drags, and this, oh man, he's really annoying.
Okay,
like, why is he in here?
Definitely think you nailed it with that.
Yeah.
It's that's how it is. When we first came out, it was an event. It was a thing, and you were just happy to see it because you never thought in your lifetime or any lifetime that something like that would exist. It was just the original trilogy, and that was all you got. Oh, and a holiday special.
4,
Which
5, and
also-
6. Nothing else is going to come out.
Nothing else is happening. We're done. close it down.
Well, that was their approach with this new trilogy too. Is the prequel never happened? Well,
so now they're disavowing it.
They're not completely disavowing it. They're like, our focus is on 4, 5, and 6. Let's just say 1, 2, and 3 are there, and that's all we'll say. They're just there.
Well, let's put that in this corner A here, this dark one that we will never speak of again.
It's like we haven't decided which way we're going to go with this yet, if we're going to keep it as part of the canon or not. Kind of like with the extended universe, with all the novels and everything that came out.
I thought they were getting rid of that.
Yeah, they basically said,
or uncanon
that's not really canon to the story. Basically, what our movies, the cinematic universe is coming out, that's going to be the canon. So you can treat the rest of the novels that came out as, even though they worked directly with Lucasfilm and all that to make sure that the storyline was cohesive and everything, it's pretty much fan fiction now.
That's rough.
Yeah.
But I hear they might be incorporating some, maybe not whole cloth, but like ideas that came from the novels.
Yeah, like elements. They'll definitely take elements from it and use it as they see fit.
They
don't have to follow the storyline.
I think in the new ones, Luke starts his own Jedi, basically rebuilds the Jedis.
Yeah.
Is that an idea that comes from the books?
Yes.
Because it's not in the movies. It's an extension of, it's from the books, right? Is where he starts.
Correct.
So they are taking ideas, assumably big concept ideas from the books and putting them in the movies, but maybe not just straight stories like a 1-to-1, which I guess
do they know where the Sith is coming from? Since I know they're rebuilding the Jedi, but
well, the Sith, they weren't all destroyed. They were, like, what was left of them kind of scattered about, and like in the prequels, they were in hiding and kind of in the shadows and lurking until it was time, like the proper time came about to reveal themselves. And then they kind of struck all at once and destroyed everything. Well, destroyed the Jedi Order. So then when, in this new trilogy, 7, 8, and 9, Luke Skywalker is building the new Jedi Order. If that makes sense. Because they're, well, yeah.
Right, they're pretty good and deaded because they got slaughtered and stuff.
Yeah. So they have one so far.
And Force sensitive people that he has to pull in. Because I guess the Jedis never can really die so much. Well, I guess there's no one to train them. I guess that's how it's supposed to die. Because they're still, even though they killed all the Jedis, they're still Force sensitive people that exist.
They just need to have the training in order to
become
hone their
Jedis.
skills for
and lots
Jedi.
of midichlorians.
God. Did that get retconned out, or is that still
I think
canon?
it might have got retconned out. Just because they haven't really said, they haven't really fully incorporated.
Because it's a
prequel.
punchline now?
Yes.
Yeah, that backfired on them, unfortunately. But, yeah, that needs to not be talked about anymore. Just the Force as it is.
It's the Force.
Yes, it's the Force. So, yeah, it sounds like they're trying to unacknowledge it, not like uncanon it, but, you know, because you still want to keep some of the bits and pieces, the bare bones of, like, what happened. Like, yes, Anakin Skywalker lost his legs, or Vader, all that stuff, that main story stuff you want to keep, because it's good stuff. It's just that some of the ancillary things that you may have come up with you'd like to get rid of, or at least not talk about anymore, and move on to greener pastures, as it were.
Yeah,
with the new trilogy, or however long it goes. Long live Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is, like, because it's Disney, they're holding off a lot of the announcements of what they're going to do with Disneyland in terms of bringing all that over and incorporating into the theme parks proper. So that I'm also excited for, and kind of hoping that it does get executed properly. I think the rumor is for Walt Disney World, because they have the whole Star Tours that was built up kind of like a set piece over there, and they have Star Wars Celebration at the Hollywood Studios, that they're going to turn more of that park into more of a Star Wars park.
You said in Walt Disney World?
Yeah, and then over here, they're still trying to decide what they want to do, if they want to kind of raise Tomorrowland and then kind of rebuild Star Wars
they
on
have
there,
room
or
to build anywhere else, really. So
or stick it
something's
in
got to go.
Fantasyland or Toontown. I mean, the plans keep changing. Like, there's leaks that come out and glimpses everywhere, but it's really hard. No one's really pinpointed it down, so it's really hard to say anything concrete. But it's like before, I think they said initially Innoventions, Autopia, and the submarines would go, and then that would turn into part of Star Wars Land. Then they build it out beyond the berm and incorporate that as well. And then now they shifted that over to the Big Thunder Festival of Fools area as a possibility of having the entrance to have Star Wars there, and then build that, raise tomorrow Toontown, and then have that be like an indoor section for more Star Wars stuff, like rides and meet and greets, restaurants, all that stuff. Still rumors.
It's
Nothing
just floating
confirmed. I mean,
around.
it's a lot of it's blue sky, so they're like, this is what we can do, and they're just
And
throwing up
plus
ideas.
they're probably going to be really more focusing on it what's closer to the movies and stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, they're heavily planning it right now just because they want to tie in the announcements together for the movies, theme parks, and then trying to like capitalize on the synergy and everything. But cross my fingers, hoping something good comes out of it that works for everyone.
Yeah, I'm sure something will come out of it. I guess good would be the best thing, but I'm sure something's going to happen. Because with that, and the 60th, you're already trying to make a big deal of everything, so...
And the parks just keep getting more and more crowded.
Jeez.
Great.
Did you see the new overflow gate that they put up?
Yeah, I did. I've
It
actually
looks
taken the
pretty
overflow.
cool.
They're
It's a
pretty
what?
cool. Yeah.
What's an overflow gate?
It's basically for to enter and exit the park during like the parade time or fireworks or any of that. You know how Main Street is packed. So what they do is they have through the backstage, they set up like a walkway that goes through the backstage, and then it dumps you out at the main plaza at the front, kind of over by the fire station, and on the opposite side by the Mad Hatter.
No, not
The hat shop.
The hat shop.
is it the Mad Hatter?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's called the Mad Hatter. I think that's the one that's in Fantasyland. But I don't know if that one in the front's called also the
I think the front one's called Mad Hatter too.
Okay. I don't really remember.
Right on the corner.
Yeah. I don't know what it's called, so I'll go with that. But I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, that area.
the hat shop on Main
It's
Street.
coming out there. That's
Yeah.
where it comes out. Okay.
Yeah, the way they had it before, I mean, it really is only a facade refresh overall, because if you see the old picture, it's like it has a lot of old elements. They kind of added the pillars and the balcony and everything, but for the most part, they still kept the main walls and everything. They just kind of repurposed it and redecorated it to make it look more like a stable. Which is funny because you're going to be herded through that area. So they haven't started using it, or they have?
I know they use the one behind the
fire station?
Emporium that goes by the fire station.
No, that one was that themed too? Did they actually do any work for that? Because I think it was only
They just put
on
up
the other side.
they just put up walls, and they have like little posters on the walls, kind of like the posters when you're entering the park on the sides that have like the theme park.
Uh-huh.
It's like the attraction posters, kind of like those sprawled out along the walls.
Oh, okay.
But it's not.
So
they
it's
didn't
almost
really-
like when you're walking and there's a whole bunch of construction. You're walking. through
yeah,
construction
it's those walls. Yeah,
Okay.
it's actually nice as long as people keep moving. If there's people that stop, that's when it sucks. But as long as everyone keeps moving, it's cool. It's just actually getting funneled into that side. It sucks because that's the exiting side, and it's only like 2.5 people wide going in, and then it kind of gets wider as it goes down.
Oh, so bottlenecks.
It's like the opposite of a bottleneck. You
Right.
start at the neck, and then
So-
it widens out once you get towards the fire station.
Like an hourglass.
Yeah. So, like, there's a bunch of people going through one small walkway, and then it, like, widens up as it goes down. But, I mean, it is cool, because you don't have to deal with all the people. But I used to just walk through the stores, and I didn't really have a problem, but...
But I thought they had people like stationed at the doors, like you can't come in here unless you're shopping.
Now they do.
Like, okay.
But I'm saying, like,
Before.
before I used to just walk through the store, and I would get through just fine. But now it does make sense that they're using that, and it is pretty smart. So I think it's going to work for them. And then now with the
So-
right side,
That addresses the crowd situation to an extent in the park without parking.
that's a different story. You can do it at Keikoa and go park at Toy Story.
Yeah, because I know they're building a new lot, I think, off of Harbor and... Wait, was it Harbor? And Ball? Like,
So is that
there's
Toy
an
Story
old
parking lot on Harbor?
It's it's kind of at the corner of Harbor and Catella, but I believe it is right off of Harbor, because there's also a castle lot that's right off of Catella, but they're like really close to each other.
Oh, okay. And they're going to be building a new parking thing, you
Yeah,
said?
there was like an RV park that used to be there, and they got bought out by Disney, and they're turning that into additional parking.
Huh.
I think for cast members.
Isn't
and then
Simba still... Can't you still park at Simba, the extended downtown Disney lot, too?
I don't know if it's exclusively downtown Disney parking though.
Okay.
I thought it was just for downtown Disney parking. So if you park there, then you'd still have to pay after 3 or
Okay.
5 hours.
I wasn't sure if it overflowed or not. Oh, maybe on a busy day it might overflow.
Because I know they had agreements with the convention center, and then like the rest of the areas around them, even all the way to Angel Stadium for cast members.
Oh, yeah. Cast members, because sometimes they'll go into the Catella lot over by the Toy Story lot. I don't know if it's the same lot or not. But I know sometimes they do use that as overflow for the park. So then I know cast members have to park over at Angel Stadium, and then they have to shuttle over.
You get the
which
raw end of the
sucks.
deal.
Like, that means that they would have to get there, like, extra early. Which sucks.
It's almost, well, I guess if you really don't want to do that, you could just pretend that you're a regular person, just pay.
Yeah.
Or get like if you had an annual pass, then just like show me your pass and put your annual pass holder thing on the dashboard, and then just like, okay, I'm going to work now. Shh.
I guess you could.
As long as they don't know you're working, you actually work there. Just a thought.
Well, even if you work there and then just
You
say like,
come
oh,
in.
I'm just going into the park.
Yeah,
Today's my play day.
exactly. You could do that.
I don't know. But yeah, those walkways are really cool. I think it
on
helps
both
a lot.
sides.
I haven't used the one on the right side, but I know they've been working on it, and it should be, if it's not open, it should be open really soon.
Yeah, and it's crazy how there's snow on the castle already. We were talking about this a little bit last week.
The
How
snow has
Christmas-
been on there for like
Since before
a couple
Halloween.
weeks.
Yeah.
I remember when they put it up there.
And it's like, for one period of time, like for a week or two, you were able to take a picture of a snowy castle with a pumpkin, with pumpkin decorations all around it. But they're actually starting the Christmas season earlier this year, from what I'm seeing online. The official start is the 12th,
The official
I
start
think.
is the 12th. Soft start is the 10th.
and then they're actually opening up a week before, earlier, which is actually this week, this Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Is going to be the soft opening, and they're going to have the first runs of the Christmas Fantasy Parade in Disneyland, as well as getting some of the other stuff started ahead of time, which should be interesting because there's still a lot of stuff closed. I think Small World doesn't open yet. Jungle Cruise is still down for the overlay, the holiday overlay, to turn into the Jingle Cruise.
I don't see what they have to do so much that it needs to be
It's only
closed that
decorating
way.
the queue.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
putting
it's not
some
like
Santa hats on like the gorillas and stuff
that's about it.
from last year, at least. I don't know if they're doing more this year.
I feel like that could be done overnight. If they change the capsule in a night, they should be able to do Jungle Cruise in a night.
Yeah, but they got trees, garlands, lights up everywhere pretty much throughout the park. Even across into California Adventure, they even decorated the Paradise Pier this time. They have garland first time this year, I think.
Yep. And then Cars Island is getting decorated like they did last year.
Yeah, they found a formula that works for that. The lockers are still closed, but they should be opening up soon. And then,
do you know if they're decorating Buena Vista Street?
Yeah, they are. They have all the infrastructure in already. I think they have that planter right in front of the Elyson Company store ready for the tree, just like the main part in the town square in Main Street, Disneyland. Oh yeah, and then the candy cane schedule has been released. For like $12.99. You can get one candy cane, one big candy cane. But it's become like a cult thing now where
those candy canes, I haven't had one, but I know they're supposed to be good.
Yeah, it's almost, they developed like a rabid kind of cultish following where people line up before the park opens outside the gate, and then when they open up, they line up in front of the Candy Palace to get a wristband to come back later so that they can claim their
candy
cane for $13, and it's only one per person. And if you're not there at that time, then they give it to the next person, well, whoever's waiting standby. And there's always a standby line too of people just like, take my money, candy cane. Like, I guess it's good when it's fresh, but if you wait, then it tastes just like any other candy cane.
So you have to like buy it and eat it right there?
Yeah, if you want the best flavor, then yeah.
Yeah, I'm never there for that.
I heard about it before it got really popular. I never really made it, and then when I did have time to make it, then it was way too crowded, and like, I'm not gonna wait in line and do all that stuff. I'm not that dedicated to getting a candy cane. No, I was just looking through the rest of the stuff. It's like they have all the Christmas merch out too.
Looks like they have a lot of different stuff this year, so
it's kind of like the same what they had last year. They even have like the Hanukkah stuff out, and then some of the new like pop culture kind of stuff. But for the most part, it seems like they're still carrying a lot of stuff over from last year, maybe expanding it a little bit, kind of like what they do every year, where all of a sudden it becomes like everywhere you look. The fireworks are making the comeback, the holiday fireworks, the snow.
They're doing the
Believe in Holiday Magic.
Color.
Oh, the winter version of World of Color.
Of World of Color too.
Yeah, so that one is just programming and new projections.
Frozen.
Olaf is going to host. And then the whole Frozen thing in Hollywood, the Hollywood backlot, Hollywoodland, where Muppets is closed and they're doing a Frozen stage show over there. So, yeah. Frozen's not going away.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks because I like the Muppets. It's just, it's in a bad location. Like, sometimes you go and you forget it's there because it's Cars Land, and it's off the beaten path.
And it's like, people really don't go over there
just like the
until
Monsters
Mad
Inc.,
Tea
right?
Party.
Yeah.
Like, Mad Tea Party covers Monsters Inc.
Yes.
It's like, you go there and it's like, oh yeah, Monsters Inc. is back there.
What else? A whole bunch of new Haunted Mansion merch.
Oh, all of the stuff for the anniversary of Haunted Mansion?
Yeah, they actually opened up a dedicated Haunted Mansion store at Walt Disney World. And it seems like this is a line that they're just going to continue as like... what is it called? Well, basically like one of the brands that they're carrying. But it's really expensive and at the same time really cool. And I don't have any money for it.
Well, because then we got to get over to Walt Disney World too. So
Yeah, but
Which
I
means
think,
we gotta work more. Yeah.
but
I
I
guess I'm
think
gonna
the
miss out.
biggest thing I'm looking most forward to is the Viva Navidad. The food, mostly. The only problem is my pass expired last week, and I didn't renew it. And
Can you still get the discount?
no, I had to do it before the pass actually was expired, so I had to do it on November 1st, the last day of the pass.
Well, that
So now
sucks.
Yeah, so now it's regular price, full price. I'm like, not sure if I really want to do that. Maybe just go once during Christmas or find a way in somehow. And then right after that, there's going to be a lot of closures and construction until they open up in May, which is part of the reason why I'm like, I should wait a little bit. But then they're going to raise the price before May 15, 2015,
They're on
which is
to
the
you.
official kickoff.
Disney's celebrating my birthday, so that's why they're waiting till that day.
Diamonds.
Yep.
For your birthday.
Disney's like, oh, it's your birthday. We're gonna start it off on that day.
Yeah, can I get a diamond cupcake?
Yeah. You know, I organized that. Mm-hmm.
That's good to know. I wasn't invited, so
I'm sorry, they were involved in the invitations. I don't even know if I'm invited.
yeah. But there's lots of good things on the horizon.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited for Viva Navidad as well. Gotta get that food again.
Yep.
Definitely did that last year a lot. So
And I know you're definitely going to hit up way more times this year.
yeah, I will. Get
And, yeah. Sounds like we got a lot of stuff to look forward to this year. Yeah, well, this year, next year, many years to come. With that, I think it brings us to the end. Successful
Of this week's
Question mark?
podcast.
of this
Any
Taco Nights podcast.
Yeah, it was
pretty
successful.
Well, I mean, we got Corey back, so that's a good.
Yeah, see?
That's
So-
worthy of success, I'd say. I'm sure eventually we'll have the whole band back together one time for a special episode. But glad to have Corey back. I know he's been a busy man. Took time out of his busy schedule. Probably
did.
Went without sleep because of us. So
That's okay.
thanks for being a trooper and sticking it out with
Yeah.
us in the trenches of the podcast.
I missed
Yes.
the last 2 weeks. I have to come back sometime,
Yes.
And then right about here is probably where we do a comment section, but I checked the email and there's nothing in there.
So the email address is
It's still
It's still
It's-
Taco Nights Podcast
at gmail.com.
at gmail.com.
Or you
Nights
can-
with a K.
yes.
Yes, or you can tweet us at Taco Nights.
We're still working on the banner for the Facebook page, so
I will.
have it eventually.
Have it up
It'll be
soon.
when it's ready. It's ready.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're definitely working on that, but we'd love
Yeah,
to hear from you.
And then you can leave reviews on iTunes. And what else do we have? Does Libsyn have a thing? Or
Yeah, actually, if you go to the Libsyn page for the Taco Nights, actually, there you could leave comments individually on this particular podcast
per episode.
per episode. Yeah, I know a lot of people just download it on there.
Actually, we did have one review on iTunes, right?
We did have one.
I forgot which episode that was for.
That was one of
I
our
think that
earlier
was
ones.
actually it was just for our podcast.
Oh,
I
in
think
general?
in general,
Okay.
yeah. So it wasn't specific to anything. So
But it was a good comment.
it was a good comment. we could use a few more of those just to know who's listening out there. Just
If you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything,
let yourself be known and heard. We'd love to hear from you.
and
Dying
Nailed
to hear
it.
from you. Yes, dying to hear from you. But we're glad you're listening. So even if you remain anonymous, that's okay by
we're
us.
fine with that too.
Yes.
We know you're listening out there.
Oh, yeah,
so.
questions.
And any questions you want to ask us.
Definitely
Well,
questions. You like answering questions.
yes.
Yeah,
we-
questions, any suggestions on things that you feel we could talk about, anything in general. If you just want to say hey,
say hey.
Say hey.
We're okay with that.
Hey.
At that, I've been your host, Keikoa, and with me tonight has been Ben.
Hey.
And Corey.
All right.
Hey.
Hey. Until next time.
Later.
Later.